That says like and subscribe, by the way. So let's get into it. My Premier League prediction video for the 2018-19 season that kicks off in less than 6 hours, I think. It's Friday, the 10th September or August, and it's Manchester United, Leicester later on, and that will kick the season off at Old Trafford. So, where to begin? 20th place. My prediction is Huddersfield. And you look, they did very well to start last year, and they've got a very good manager there. But they're the smallest club in the division, and then, as we all know, the second year in the Premier League is a lot harder than the first year, because that's when you really look to establish yourself. And they really don't think they will, because there are no big transfers that have come in. You look at the likes of Eric Durm coming from Dortmund, but really he's not going to have that much of an impact coming in at a left back position, which I probably he's better than what they had in, I don't know who they had, it might have been Congolo, and they bought Congolo as well, so questions being raised there. But if Congolo slots into the centre back position, they have a strong defence, but there's nothing really up top. I mean, you look at who they got, I don't even know who they've got up top. So yeah, Huddersfield 20th. 19th place, I'm giving this to Cardiff City. I'm sorry, it's your first year in the league, you're going straight back down. We won't have any Welsh teams, sorry, we're English. Well, it's not that simple, but you look at the manager Neil Warnock, and he's got a bad record of keeping teams in the league. He gets them up, but he can't keep them up, which is a shame for him, because you get a team up and you can't really be sacked for doing that. And so it's a shame if you got Neil Warnock, you're like, yeah, we're going up, but not really. Key FPL pick for you fantasy Premier League players is Joe Rawls. He takes the set pieces, so if they corners, free kicks, penalties, that's assists and goals. I'd say that's at least 6 goals a year. 6 goals and 5 assists from that a year, and that is decent points. Next prediction is in 18th, Southampton. I think they've lost a crucial player in Tadic going back to Holland, and Mark Hughes isn't the manager for them. I think he'll be one of the first to go, and that could potentially see a little bit of a change in where they finish and push them up into safety a bit more. But as it stands, I can't really see him doing much, especially after they narrowly escaped relegation last year. So, Southampton, 18th. 17th, yeah. Narrowly avoiding the drop is Watford. And they do have a strong core in players like Decore, who was part of the team of the season last year, which is a really good achievement for a club of Watford's stature. And bringing in players like Ben Foster from recently relegated West Brom, is a good signing, and I think that's what will keep him up. But after losing Richarlison, and he had such a big impact on the start of their season last year, that is really where they're at a loss with that. Players like Will Hughes, if they stay fit, they can change this and push them up the league a bit, but there's just no guarantee they will be able to do that and stay fit. My prediction for 16th is Brighton, because they've got the first full season for Locadia, how do you say it, and he looks really strong for them, coming off really good form in the Eredivisie. And at the end of last season, he was doing well, and then you got players like Pascal Gross, another one for the FPL team, very good last year, their player of the season. And if he has a season like last, I don't doubt they can score and keep themselves, get points. And they can also be really solid defensively, as we saw their home game against Arsenal last year, and they only lost 1 or 2-0, and they defended really well that game. They were unlucky to lose. My prediction for 15th is Fulham. You look at the key men in that team, like Mitrovic, and you got their manager. He's built his team around Mitrovic for the second half of that championship season, and they went on an amazing run with players like Sessegnon, and bringing in crucial experience signings like Mawson and Schürrle would hopefully see him stay up and push above those relegation battle. And 14th, I'm looking at Bournemouth. They have a strong defensive unit centering around Ake and Begovic, and that's really crucial to them as a team. So if one of those gets injured, that might be a problem. And then on the subject of injuries, you've got to look at their strike force: Wilson, Defoe and King. All quite injury-prone players, but because there's 3 of them, with a bit of luck, they'll have 2 fit at a time and they can keep the contest going to start and to score, and that can be good for the team. Also, a key fantasy Premier League pick is Charlie Daniels. Fullback, gets up the pitch, whips the ball in, scores a few goals. Absolutely love it. 13th goes to Newcastle. I think they will struggle this year because Mike Ashley has not given Rafa Benitez the funds he's needed to buy the players he wants for the squad. But bringing in players like Ki Sung-young, Fabian Schär, Kennedy and Salomon Rondon show real intent with that low budget. However, I do think Benitez will leave and this will cause problems. 12th place for me has to be Crystal Palace. You're looking at that. Keeping Wilfried Zaha is crucial for the team. If he goes up top alone or up top next to Benteke, with the new signing Max Meyer from Schalke behind him, Max Meyer can create bundles of chances, and that can be goals under Roy Hodgson. My picks for the FPL, crucial picks for your team, are Andros Townsend. He'll definitely be playing. Probably won't be he'll probably be on the wings in place of Zaha, because I reckon they'll probably put Zaha up top this year. And he's constant, since rejoining the Premier League, he's constantly gone up, getting more points each year. And then Wan-Bissaka, don't know his first name, looks very good. Solidified that spot in at right back over Timothy Fosu-Mensah. Played the last 7 games of last year and is strong for what they need. And then finally, the big man himself, Wilfried Zaha. He's a attacker this year, which isn't as good for points, but only 7 million makes him a bit of a bargain. 11th place for me has to be Burnley. I mean, they needed to do more deals in the window and they didn't, and that is one problem that they might face with the Europa League, as it will take a big toll on that squad, especially after losing Tom Heaton and Nick Pope to injury. But bringing in the likes of Joe Hart and Maciej Vydra from Derby and Manchester City, respectively, look very, very good. Hart is a capable replacement for either of them, but did have one more mistake leading to goals than the entire team. One more mistake leading to goals for West Ham than the entire Burnley team did last year, which I can see becoming a bit of a problem. But 10th position for me has to go to Wolves. I mean, you look at the team and massive signings like Rui Patricio and João Moutinho, both Portuguese. They've got a very Portuguese squad, but the signings very important. Look at Moutinho, who's a really experienced player for Monaco in the French league, won the league the year before last, I think. And then Rui Patricio, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, and to go to a team that's just coming out of the Championship, that is a really good coup. And with Ruben Neves in there as well, they're looking at having a strong season, and I think in a few years they will be contesting for those European places and maybe even pushing into the Champions League, because they do have the new owners that will bankroll the club. Also, Adama Traore coming in from Middlesbrough, the ability to beat a defender and get a shot off is something that's really overlooked, and he's an amazing signing because he did it before in the Premier League, I think, and I'm sure he'll do it again, and that will be very helpful for them. Coming in at 9th place will be West Ham United, looking at the Claret and Blues, with a key player for your fantasy league team, before I get into it, is Arnautovic, 7 million, moving up to a striker this year, still really good. He looks like the key man, and they built around him great signings. Like you look at Wilshere come in, strengthen that midfield. Yarmolenko, Anderson creating opportunities for Arnautovic, and Fabianski in goal just to keep just to keep the goals out. I know it didn't really work last year for Swansea, but in an improved team, he can do well. And you remember him at Arsenal, he was good there, and well, he wasn't good there, that's why he left, but yeah, there was so much promise with him at Arsenal, and it looks like he may well fulfil it a bit here. This is where my previous prediction changes a bit, coming into 8th place, where I previously have Everton. Now we're putting Leicester in, because Everton. Leicester, you look at, they've got a key squad. They're going to miss Mahrez, fortunately for them. That's a big miss. But you know, Demrai Gray coming through looking to have a brilliant year, can fill those boots. And then you've got James Maddison in the number 10 coming in from Norwich after an amazing season in the Championship, creating in that little pocket, creating space for Vardy and doing whatever and creating opportunities. And you've got Jamie Vardy up top, as I said, he'll bang in goals. He gets at least 10 goals a year, and he'll do so again. And defensively, they're strong, and so I don't doubt players like Harry Maguire. He's good. He's really good. He looked amazing at the World Cup. And then you've got Johnny Evans. He's a potential FPL Fantasy Premier League pick if he can force his way into that team, because he's lethal from corners and set pieces. But that's if he can force his way into the team. Seventh place, leaving the big six for the top six, is Everton. Now they have more recently in the transfer window, since I kind of did a first prediction where I had Everton 7th, Everton 8th, Leicester 6th. They've kind of pushed on in the transfer window, and they've brought in 4 really big players. They've brought in Digne from PSG, I believe, Yerry Mina and Andre Gomez from Barca, and then Bernard from Shakhtar Donetsk. And that is really good business, but on the part of Marco Silva, also bringing in Richarlison, who will also be crucial. That's 5 big players who are going to start, and that really strengthens the defence. Having Pickford in goal after an amazing World Cup as well. He won't be back for the first. I don't know if he'll be back for the first game. Like, he might be looking at. I don't know who their backup is. Is it still Stecklenburg? Doesn't matter. You might be looking at Pickford in goal, and then Michael Keane and Yerry Mina after that amazing run with Colombia. Fullbacks Digne and Coleman. Coleman coming back from that horror leg break could really push on, get up. Coleman, another FPL pick you want in your team. Gets up, overlaps, plays the ball in. Perfect. Assists all day. Clean sheets potentially as well, looking at the new team. Midfield wise, bringing in Andre Gomez to solidify the defensive part with Idrissa Gana Gueye. And then attacking, you've just got so much there with Tosin, Richarlison, Bernard, and you can't overlook that when you're coming up, because you need the players that will break down the defences, and these players will, and that is why I think Everton will push for that final Europa League space. I'm putting Tottenham in 6th place because there have been no signings, and that really doesn't bode well for the season ahead. As we know, Champions League is quite strenuous on the squad. They do have a big squad, but it's the quality there. If they had an injury to Kane, they don't really have the striker to go in there. I mean, you could put Llorente in there. He's good enough for a few games, and you can put Son in there, and he's also quite good. But it's just not the same with that key goal scorer like Kane, who is a key pick for your FPL team in September. Because we all know he doesn't score in August, and my light is flashing, which is weird. But if he did score in August, maybe you wouldn't have to claim Eriksen's goals. And defensively, they are a very strong team. So Lloris again, a runner, like potential Golden Glove candidate. I know he didn't get it last year, and De Gea did, but there is potential there. But actually, the uncertainty surrounding Alderweireld and a potential move to Manchester United at the end of the year or in January could be 5th. Manchester United. Sorry lads, you're shit. Well, I mean, you're not, but we all know you need a centre back over there, up there, over there, up there. And they were looking at Alderweireld from Tottenham, and they didn't get him in Boateng. And you really do need one, because looking at your centre backs at the minute, Bailly, Smalling, and Jones, it's injuries and inconsistency that really holds you back. Sanchez has looked really good in pre-season, but I don't think that'll be enough to keep a top four push up, especially considering business that has recently been completed for the team in fourth place. And again, Mourinho's third season curse. We've seen it before. Will it happen again? We don't know. We'll find out. Fourth place falls to Chelsea Football Club. This was I originally predicted sixth for Chelsea before signing with Kepa Arrizabalaga and Mateo Kovacic, because they really didn't have anything. Courtois wasn't looking like he was happy at Chelsea, and it really looked like a problem. But now they have solidified that, and I think they will just be able to get into the top four. They might have problems converting to Sarri's style of football, out of defensive style, but with a midfield like Kante, Kovacic and Jorginho, which is probably one of the most capable midfields in the Premier League, except Man City's and maybe Arsenal's, but I'm an Arsenal fan, I'm going to say that. They could push on to do higher than fourth, but I think that converting style will take a few months, and then it will really be pushing on for the top four finish. And then even next year they could definitely push for the title. And also, third place is Arsenal Football Club. Now, this is kind of a surprise package for the year, I think, because looking at Unai Emery's style of football, I don't think many people know about it, and it can really turn this league upside down. It's similar to Guardiola's in the fullbacks become part of the midfield, but there's a lot more attacking intent shown, and it will really hook up a linkage between Mickey, Ozil, Laka and P, as I call Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, who is my pick for Premier League Golden Boot. Also crucial that you get Mickey and Aubameyang in your fantasy team, in my opinion, because that Dortmund link should prove beneficial for that squad. Back to Arsenal, signings like Torreira, who can just shore up that defensive line in midfield, from midfield I should say, and it really is looking good. Socrates Pastafopoulos coming in, I said that right I think, is good because he's statistically one of the best players coming out of the Bundesliga. Again, Mislintat doing well. I know that most of Arsenal, I'm an Arsenal fan. But the one problem I do see coming along is the uncertainty around Aaron Ramsey and his contract. Very much like Sanchez and Ozil last year. Well, caused a lot of problems in the team, but because it's only Ramsey, it can't be as bad. So we are left with two teams. Liverpool, Champions League finalists last year, and Manchester City, Premier League winners this year. And for me, the winners have to be Man City. But let's talk about Liverpool first. Looking at Liverpool in the transfer window, they've done really well. Alisson coming in, solidifying that goalkeeping position, taking it away from Mignolet or Karius, who are good keepers, but do have the occasional howler, as we have seen over the years. Not to mention that night in Kiev, I believe it was. And then defensively into the Liverpool backline, you've got Lovren and Virgil van Dijk. Lovren looks a changed man at that World Cup. He looks less mistake prone. I'm sure there's still a mistake in him somewhere, which is probably why there is frailties in where they're finishing. Liverpool just typically an inconsistent team, as we've seen. And then across the fullbacks, come building on from Virgil and Lovren, is Trent Alexander-Arnold and Andy Robertson. And these two have been crucial and have been such great kind of revelations for the Liverpool team. So really managed to build up the attack from defence, and that really helps with Klopp's style of play, the pressing. And then more signings like Keita and Fabinho in the midfield just solidify it even more, give it the strength and depth it needs. They need, not it. I don't think they'll challenge as much in the Champions League this year, but there's definitely that potential to push Man City right to the edge this year, which there wasn't last year. And again in the transfer window, Shaqiri's electric off the bench. If you're drawing 1-1 at Leicester, and you can have anyone on the bench pretty much, Shaqiri's your guy. You got to have Shaqiri. I take Shaqiri at Arsenal. I'd put him at City if City I mean, maybe not City, they got Mahrez, but anyone above, I mean, anyone below Liverpool would love to have Shaqiri on the bench because he's electric coming on. FPL-wise, Fantasy Premier League players, again, got you covered. You want Bobby Robertson, as I call him, even though his name's Andy, don't ask. And Salah. So mainly Salah's picked by 50% of players. If he does have a good start, you're not going to recover. Robertson, he is the Scotsman of the Premier League. Getting into that Liverpool backline is going to be solid this year. But, I mean, attacking-wise, he's not amazing, but being behind Mane, Firmino and Salah, you know, there's really good potential for him to play a ball in, get an assist, whip a cross in, put it on for Fabinho's head, someone like that. I don't know who's tall, but you know, yeah. And now, on to our future champions. Manchester City. That team. We all hate them, unless we're from Manchester and we are blue. Because they've got so much money and such an amazing squad depth that they only signed one big player this year. And they don't need anyone else. You look around the team, there's always someone. Each player needs Liverpool centre-back, Arsenal centre-back. Chelsea probably need a decent striker. Giroud and Morata just not doing it. United centre-back. Lots of centre-backs needed in this league. And when you look at City, they've got 4 centre-backs. They've got Aymeric Laporte. He was playing left-back last year, but Mendy has recovered from his injury and should be back in that left-back role. Vincent Kompany, captain of Man City and Belgium, coming 3rd in the World Cup, smashing England twice. That was great. And then John Stones, 4th in the World Cup. Nicolas Otamendi, we won't talk about his World Cup, but Nicolas Otamendi's a great defender. And so you look at the strength and depth, and there's so many players they would get into the first team, and they're not on any other team in the league, and they're not even on the bench for Man City. Bernardo Silva, I mean, I'm sure he'll make the bench for some games, but he's not going to with players like Mahrez coming in, and it's just stupid, the squad depth. And I mean, they didn't even have half their team against Chelsea in the Community Shield, and they still put them to bed quite easily with the 2-0 win. But the one thing this year is I don't think they'll run away with it. I don't think they'll go anywhere near as close as they were to going unbeaten. Sheerly because of the strengthening in other teams. You look at Arsenal. I know Arsenal won't beat them on the opening day. Saturday coming, they won't win then. But you know, there's potential for the second game. I reckon once that Arsenal team's glued together, they could get a win. Liverpool did it last year. It's possible. Manchester United were unlucky to lose to them in the derby. Chelsea look a lot stronger at the minute, but everything can change with Chelsea. And Spurs, you never know with Spurs, really, do you? And so I doubt they will be as far away with it as they were. I don't think they'll break their points total. I don't think they'll break goals scored, but I think they will still easily win it. And that wraps up my prediction for the 20 Premier League teams going into the new season. I've been talking a lot about Fantasy Premier League players. My team should pop up here, and if it doesn't, unlike you can't copy me. I'll see you in the next one. Like and subscribe for more. I probably won't do any more football videos. I might do a Wickham one because I'm a Wickham fan. Bless up the Wickham boys. But yeah, I'm trying to do some proper content.